Our first question, Josh Belcher, go ahead, please.
Hey, first of all, Sarah, I just want to say, as a father of two girls, girl power all the way. Just how does this feel to you for future generations? All the history you're making right now. What would you say to a young girl now that because of you thinks she can do anything?
Yeah, I mean that exactly that. I would say that they can do anything they set their mind to. But I also just want to emphasize that it's not always going to be easy. There's going to be ups and downs, and the willingness to fight through the downs and cherish the ups, I think is really important. So just keep fighting and keep working hard and keep working towards your goals.
Thank you. You're a rock star.
Thank you.
Enrique, go ahead.
Hi, Sarah. Henrique from Brazil. Since we are a very rich country in soccer, how do you feel being a woman making history in two sports in the same weekend? Being a champion in the SEC for Vanderbilt that hasn't been champion since '94, and then playing football as a woman in the same weekend.
Yeah, I'd say I think it's amazing and incredible, the football piece and everything, but I have worked my whole life to be an SEC champion, and I that was like my most like proud, if I can be like proud of myself, like I was really proud of that accomplishment, given all that I've been through and all the injuries and how many times I've been told, no, you're not traveling, no, you're not playing. That was like the big thing for me, that I was like, wow, I achieved that. And then the playing football and making history was just like icing on top. It was really amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. You're awesome, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Hey, Brooke Katz, go ahead.
Hey Sarah, Brooke Katz with CBS 11 in Dallas, Fort Worth, which I know you'll be at UNT here soon. You wore the message "Play like a girl" on the back of your helmet. Tell me why that was important to you.
Yeah, I think mainly I wanted to bring attention to the nonprofit here in Nashville, which is it, and they work all across the United States. It's a really important nonprofit, and they work with young girls to like encourage them to stay in sports. I think sports are so important. It teaches young girls about teamwork and how to be courageous and making amazing friends. I've made lifelong friends through sports. And then they also do an incredible job of connecting women in STEM with young girls and exposing them to those opportunities, because those are, again, another breaking down barriers. There needs to be more women in STEM, and it's just showing them that they can do anything that they set their mind to. And then I also think the main thing is that it used to be like, an insult, like, oh, you play like a girl. And I wanted to turn that on its head and say, no, that's actually a huge compliment to play like a girl, because we fought through so many things and we're showing up now. We're breaking down these barriers, and I wanted to make that clear.
Hey, Jobeth, go ahead.
All right. Can you hear me fine?
Yeah.
Hey, Sarah, congratulations, first of all, making her story, not history, but her story here. My question for you is, what's been your biggest challenge, stepping on the field and joining a team of all boys? And has everybody been pretty much welcoming to you, or has there been some pushbacks or, haters out there?
I'd say like my first real day at practice, like actually kicking and everything, I walked out there on the field, and the guys were like a little hesitant, and it wasn't because I was a girl. Like it wasn't just because, I'm a girl playing football. It was because, like, are you able to do this job? And I think that was the biggest thing. And when I got out there and I made the field goals, they were like, okay. And we, started high-fiving, and I became, part of the team. And I think at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you are. It's just as long as you can do the job well, that's what matters.
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Dylan Manfrey, go ahead.
Hey, Sarah, how are you doing today?
Hi, doing better than I deserve. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Wait, my Siri just went off.
That happens with me when people say my name.
So you've motivated so many people because of this moment, but who has motivated you over your athletic career? And basically my question is, who is your hero that you look up to?
Yeah, so I grew up, I'd say like it's the whole U.S. women's national team. I grew up watching them, and I, grew up watching them succeed on the world stage. They've won World Cups and they've won Olympic gold medals. And so that is what I saw in front of me, is that this is possible and that women are amazing at these things. And I think that was the biggest inspiration for me, especially like from like a soccer aspect, and it is carried over into football, is that, we're capable of doing these things. So that has been my biggest inspiration, I'd say.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Christopher Like, go ahead, please.
Okay, there we go. How you doing, Joe?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing great. Talk about your high school days. I know you were pressured into playing for the Wiley Pirates high school football team as well. Talk about that and your career in high school and how that led to your time at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, so I loved playing for my high school team. I think it's really important to, understand and learn how to represent like your school. And I love my club team too, but there's something about like having your school's name on your jersey, like you are representing that. And I think that's really important for high school athletes who want to go into college, is understanding like it's not just you, it's the school. So I think that was the biggest thing from going from like high school to college, is being proud of that name.
Michaela Chester, go ahead, please.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
Michaela Chester with NCAA Digital. I saw a lot of your stories where your soccer coach kind of told your story about how you earned everything that you've had, and you've had to work so hard for where you are now. But I kind of wanted to hear that story from your perspective, and all of those years and the injuries, and then COVID hitting, and then finally getting to play 4 games into your senior season, earning that starting spot, hoisting the trophy over your head, and then making history in a different sport. Just kind of taking us through that.
Yeah, for sure. So going into my freshman year of college, I broke my foot. There's a lot of broken foots in this story, so hold on. So I broke my foot, and I went in, and I, kind of had a bad attitude about everything. I was upset that I couldn't play, and I was very frustrated with everything, and I got pretty depressed throughout my freshman year. I was having to adapt to being a straight A student in high school to being at Vanderbilt, and C's were starting to, appear on my report card, and I was like, oh, all right. So it was kind of like a wake-up call for me. And, a lot of my teammates were like, you're not being respectful, you're not being positive. We need better from you. And so then going into my sophomore year, I started doing better. And then I slipped a disc in my back, and I was still able to train, but it was pretty painful. And I didn't realize how painful it was till after I finally got treatment for it. And I was like, oh yeah, I wasn't doing very well. But it was frustrating because every week I was waiting around seeing if I was going to travel or not. And they're like, no, I'm sorry, you're not going to travel with the team, or you're going to have to sit this one out. And it was so frustrating. And then junior year, I decided like to really change my mentality. That it wasn't about me, it wasn't about my performance, it was about the team. So I came in really healthy. We had 2 seniors who split time in the goal, and they were incredible mentors for me in terms of, being positive and working hard, because if I work hard, it makes the team work hard as well. So it just benefits everyone in the end. And so I came in with the mentality that, hey, I might not play this season, but at least I can make my team better, and I can make myself better for next year. So I think that was the biggest thing. And then going into senior year, I was really fit and I was probably overtraining, and I got a stress fracture in my other foot. Yay, both feet have been broken now. So that, and it wasn't bad or anything. I knew it would heal quickly. But again, I lost some of my fitness, and I've always struggled with our fitness test here. I think I had like a mental block, and it's frustrating when it's your fifth, sixth time running your fitness test and you're watching your teammates train while you're having to do extra conditioning. And so I finally passed it, and just was waiting for my time to be called up. And when I did, I didn't want to look back. I, wanted to make sure like, this is what I've been working for. I am good enough. And it has really paid off in the end. If someone told me, hey, you have to go through 3.5 years of struggle for this to happen, I'd be like, yes, okay, that's fine. Because this has been pretty amazing. And being able to hold that trophy with my teammates who we worked so hard to get there, this was just incredible. And then to be called up on the football team and make history was just even more incredible. So it's been a journey for sure.
How did it come that Coach Derek Mason called you? Like, what was this call like with him?
So he actually didn't call me. I believe they called my assistant coach, and I had a missed call from him. And so I called him back and I was like, oh no, what's going on? Because, we're leaving, we're done with season. Like, what did I do? And he was like, hey, are you busy? And I was like, well, I'm packing. And he's like, well, they need a kicker. Would you be willing to come out and like try to kick for him? And he's like, can you be out there in an hour? And I was like, I'll be out there in 30 minutes. So I got out there and started taking a few kicks, and they were happy with it. And that's when I started meeting the rest of the staff and got signed on. So, or signed on,
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah.
Mary Claire, go ahead.
Hi. So I wanted to ask well, first of all, congratulations. It's a really awesome moment. But I've seen a lot of positive and negative feedback on social media. What do you want to say to those people who make those comments, either one, positive or negative?
The positive have been incredible. Mainly I try not to look at them. The negative or anything, or comments in general, I have someone else like look through the comments and let me know like, hey, they said this about you. I'm like, oh, so sweet. Because the negative is just a waste of my time. I have worked hard to get where I am, and I was in the right spot at the right time to be called up on the football team, and I've been working really hard to perform for them. So at the end of the day, I don't care what the negative is.
Hi, Sarah. Congratulations on a historic and fantastic weekend. You're welcome. Sorry you can't see my face. I'm having camera issues.
It's all good.
But a couple of days ago, you actually posted on Instagram a picture of you playing ultimate frisbee. And I'm curious, as someone who has started playing the sport, can you talk about how you got into ultimate and what the sport has done for you on the football field and on the soccer field?
Yeah, ultimate frisbee. That's so funny. So I was out training, I believe it was it the summer? It was like last year. It's been a year now, I think. And I was out on the football field at my local like junior high, where I actually went to junior high, just on the football field running sprints, and a bunch of people started coming out on the field, and they were playing frisbee, and I was like, what is going on? And they actually invited me to play ultimate frisbee with them, and they're so sweet. Every time I'm out there, they're like, do you want to play? And I'm like, of course. So I just consider it like really fun conditioning. And it's challenging, and they're really good. So again, I love playing sports, so it's just something fun for me to do. Sometimes you need a break from soccer or whatever, from what you do all the time. So yeah, I've really enjoyed anytime I'm out there and I get to play with those guys.
Once again, if you have a question, please use that raise hand function. Next question will go to Rachel.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
So first I wanted to ask, how your friends and family react to the news.
It was so funny because it was my roommate and my boyfriend were in the room, and I had stepped out when I had initially gotten the call, and I came in and I was like, yo, they want me to be on the football team. And they were like, okay, we did not expect you to say that when you walked back in here. And they were so excited. And I called my mom and dad, and they were actually driving back from Orange Beach from the SEC tournament. And they were like, no, you're kidding. And I was like, no, I'm not. Like, they need me out there in an hour. And I was like, I should do this, right? And they're like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I think I should do this. So, I mean, they were very excited, and they've been so supportive ever since.
Did you have any hesitation? Were you nervous at all?
Okay, there was a split second where I was like, I want to see my dogs really badly. But then I was like, no, this is a really cool opportunity. And again, I never expected it to be this big. I just wanted to help. Like, I just wanted to be there to help as anyone else would. So that was my main thing.
Have you, you've gotten messages from Billie Jean King, Hope Solo. Is there a favorite so far that you've received?
Oh gosh, I don't know. So I'm a huge Cowboys fan and everything. So Dak Prescott reached out to me, and the Titans as well have. I thought that was amazing. Like any person in sports, I think LeBron James did, and Carly Lloyd. All of those have been so cool because I've watched them as I've grown up, and I've been inspired by them, and the fact that they're like, oh, you're inspiring me. I'm like, whoa, that's great. That's just so crazy. Yeah, it's been awesome.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Hey, Sarah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Tremendous achievement. We're up here in Canada. It's been as big of a story as anywhere in the world. So we're following closely up here. Now I want to ask, has it been a little bittersweet that you've kind of come from having so much success with the soccer team with relatively little coverage from the media, then going to this experience and then having such an overwhelming amount of coverage, given it's kind of, it was a story that kind of came across late in the year. The football team isn't necessarily having a ton of success on the field, but there's been this overwhelming media fascination with your story compared to what you and your teammates went through kind of up to the SEC championship.
Yeah, it was funny because my dad was in an interview last night talking about this, and I think he said it best that women in sports deserve this amount of coverage for women's sports. If I could go back to the SEC tournament and just boast about how incredible our team played and the team chemistry, and it just looked so good and so smooth. And that was good soccer. That is good, entertaining soccer. And it would be amazing if we could get more, coverage and more attention, because those women work so hard to do what they do. And I mean, NWSL, the WNBA, all those women's sports organizations work so hard. And so I totally believe they deserve that attention for sure.
Stephen, go ahead, please.
With everybody, I'm just so excited for you and this opportunity and just this exciting, wow, this is such a cool moment. And I'm so glad to not even be a part of it, but be able to speak to you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So my question is, I'm sure you're processing a lot right now, but what does the future look like for you? What is the next step for you? Maybe athletically, or maybe through academics, the things that you've been studying. How do you want to take your Vanderbilt education and the things you've learned through your just long history in sports to make a difference in the world?
Yeah, I love that question. So definitely being at Vanderbilt, it's difficult, and I'm so proud of all I've accomplished here. I will graduate here in May with my undergraduate degree in medicine, health, and society. And with the COVID and everything, soccer will continue. So we have the NCAA season as well, and we have an automatic bid into that tournament. So we're very excited about that and ready to get started working on that in January. And then I committed to University of North Texas last month, I believe. And so I plan on going there. I had a red shirt from my freshman year, and COVID year gave us another year of eligibility. So I was going to use my 2 remaining years to pursue my master's degree in hospital administration. So I'm very excited about that. And, you know, I am also interested in NWSL and the opportunities there. I, you know, want to continue working hard, and I think that would be so cool as well to, you know, be paid to play soccer, like to have that be my job. And NWSL is really taking off, and they've done incredible things. So I'm really, you know, interested in that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Casey Dobson, go ahead, please.
Hi, Sarah. I'm Casey. I run Unbenched Sports. And first off, as a girl who was always told that playing like a girl was an insult, I just want to thank you for reclaiming that for everyone. I cried a little bit when I saw you kick, I'm not going to lie. So I think the biggest thing that I was wondering is, what would you most like to tell your younger self from where you are now, having just made history?
I mean, oh, that's a cool question. So you know, my first time playing soccer, I was a little runt out there and I couldn't run very fast. And the coaches were out there with us on the field. Like, we were 5 years old, they'd run with us. And for some reason we played on like a regulation size field, not like the little field for 5-year-olds. and I never did good, and I was never fast enough. And I would just say, like, you know, do what you're gonna do. Like, everything that happened to you, whether it's good or bad, like, just keep pushing through, because at the end of the day, like, there's some amazing things that are gonna happen. And gosh, if I could even tell myself at the beginning of this year that, like, just keep pushing, like, this year's gonna suck a little bit, but there's gonna be some cool things that come out of it. Yeah, I think that would be it.
Hey, Margaret, go ahead, please.
Hey, Sarah, it's Margaret Wrinkle with the New Times. And I just, I actually remember trying out for the high
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Sorry, Siri thinks I'm talking.
I told you it's called.
I actually remember going out for football spring training in 1978. And it was, you know, a great shock to everybody. It was not too long after, you know, after Title IX was passed into law. I wondered if you had any experience as a young woman in the South with just not trolls on Twitter, but just general disbelief that a young woman could be a serious athlete.
You know, I would like to say the narrative's changed a little bit.
I'm sure.
You know, I think it's, and I think that's incredible what you did. That's amazing. I'd like to say that. And then again, like, you know, there's people on social media that are like, you're not supposed to be out there and all this stuff. And, but there's so much more positive around it now. There's so many more people pressing and being like, no, this needs to be the norm. Like, this needs to be what we should expect from now on. And, I grew up playing with the guys. I grew up, you know, training with guys, and everything. And so it became normal to me, and kind of an expectation of like, well, let's work. It doesn't matter who you are. Like, if you're good enough, let's train. So.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Jules, go ahead, please.
Hi, Sarah. First off, congrats on your success. I am a student athlete at Carolina. I think I might be one of the non-media people on this call, but your story is super inspiring to all athletes like myself. And I just actually host a podcast about female student athlete and female in sport empowerment. And I just wanted to know what you think the biggest issue in women's sports is right now, or the biggest issue facing women in sports right now. Mm-hmm. And then what your thoughts and feelings are around how big of an impact you've had and how you're starting a conversation about the inclusivity of women in spaces that are traditionally male dominated.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is we just want recognition. We really do. We've won 3, I have 3 rings sitting in my bedroom, we deserve that recognition. I think that's pretty impressive. And just all the things that women in sports have done, just it doesn't matter what sport it is. It doesn't, I mean, they've done amazing things, and I think we need to acknowledge that, and it needs to be hyped up. It's so cool. It's amazing, because for so long we were held back and we weren't allowed to do these things. And, Title IX came along and all this stuff. And so now we're really making strides and really becoming present. So I think that's the biggest thing. And sorry, what was your second question?
Yeah, my second question was about how does it feel to start a conversation about the inclusion of women in traditionally male spaces, obviously not just in sports, but what you've done is bigger than just sports. You're going on to a man's team, and football has been traditionally male. How does that feel? This is so much bigger than sports. What does it mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, the more people I've talked to, the more I've realized this is really making a big change. And something as simple as the fact that there wasn't a women's locker room at the game. There's a lot of women that are on the football staff, whether it's athletic trainers or media team or whatever it is. There's a lot of women involved in these sports. Why can't we have bathrooms? Why can't we have locker rooms? I had to go in to another facility just to go to the bathroom, So it's just simple things like that I think are gaining attention. And I'm really excited to be a part of that narrative where we're going to change that and make this the norm.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you.
Michelle, go ahead, please.
Hi, Sarah. Just in the last couple of weeks, how would you describe your relationship with your new teammates, and maybe how it's changed over the last 2 weeks, and what kind of support they might have offered you?
Yeah, so again, my first practice out there, they were like, I don't know about this and everything, and got out there and kicked a few, and I feel like we're all on the same page going forward. They have been very, very supportive, and obviously the season has been tough with the change in staff and everything, and that's been really hard on the guys. So I think this week has been really great. We've had a really great training session and our practices. I think the energy and everything is where it needs to be right now. And again, I don't think it's much different from a women's team to a men's team. I don't really think that matters a whole lot, because at the end of the day, it's a team and we're all working together to reach a common goal. So it's how we get there that matters.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We definitely want to be mindful of Sarah's time with finals coming up soon. We have one more question. We'll take it back to Texas, and Brooke.
Hey, Sarah. So I know it looks like you're playing again this upcoming Saturday. Are you doing anything special to get prepared for that? What are you doing right now to get geared back up to get back on that football field?
Well, I do a lot of ice baths. That's been the big thing, and I love it. They haven't treated me any differently. Yesterday, I went out and I ran in full pads, had to do running with them. So there's literally nothing different. So just how I would soccer game is how I'm preparing for a football game.
That's awesome. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you all. I really appreciate it.
Sarah, real quick, top 3 songs on your warm-up playlist. Go.
Okay, so I'm a rock fan. So any Foo Fighters or Shine Down, that's my stuff. I know that's not typical. But yeah, Foo Fighters, Shine Down, Alter Bridge, that's my go-to music.
Right on. All right. Thank you so much, Sarah, for doing this. Best of luck to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you all.